Welcome back to Squawk Box, where we are live in Beijing. We've been traveling with Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Charlie Munger, and a host of other Berkshire directors. We've been focusing on BYD and their investment in that, but Buffett and Gates are here doing many other things. One of them is to talk about their pet project of philanthropy. Buffett and Gates are the best-known philanthropists of their day. They're really the Rockefeller and the Carnegie of their time. In China, this is the perfect place to start talking to some billionaires right here in China, because China, of course, is at this point the world's second largest economy. It's a booming economy that has produced amazing amounts of wealth over the last decade. Right now, there are about 900,000 millionaires in China, and somewhere up to as many as 150 billionaires. All of that wealth, though, that's gotten here has not seen the philanthropy grow quite as quickly, and that's for a variety of reasons. In China, attitudes are a little different. They traditionally have always taken care of their families. The state government has seen its role as the one to be taking care of any of the downtrodden, and so this idea of philanthropy, as we see it in the United States, not necessarily the same as they see it right here in China. In China, in 2008, charitable donations totaled about $8 billion. That compares with about $30 billion in the United States. So when Buffett and Gates came and asked for a meeting with some of the richest Chinese people, there was some pushback in the local media here in China. The idea first started getting kicked around. There were stories that many of these billionaires turned them down, said they didn't want to come because they were worried they were going to be asked to make a pledge, like Buffett and Gates had done with many billionaires in the United States. That took some time to kind of work details out. The Gates Foundation made sure it put out the word that, no, it's not going to be here asking for people to pledge to give away half of their money tonight. They really are meeting with all these billionaires, about 50 in total, to try and talk to them about their ideas of giving and get some ideas from the people here as well. So when we spoke with Buffett and Gates about this, they had a few thoughts about what exactly they're going to be looking for. Listen in.
The trip wasn't originally planned for this purpose, but this is a nice add-on on it. And we will talk to them the same way we talked to a group in New York a week or so ago. We'll tell them what we're doing, what we hope to do. If it's useful to them, fine. You know, I mean, they may have better ideas. We'll listen to what they say. But we're not here to enlist anybody or to start anything in China. If people in China decide to do something, they can do it, and maybe they can improve on what we're doing. But we're not. This is not a chapter or something of the American operation. We got plenty to do in the United States.
The topic is philanthropy, and so Warren and I will share how we think about philanthropy, why it's fun, some of the different things, what impact you can have, talk about how we thinking about it early in life is good for you, your kids, and China's different. There's a lot of giving already taking place, and so it really is just a dialogue. Some of the people here may go on and organize something, but that will be up to them. We're very supportive of philanthropy all over the world, and it'll be a good discussion.
Again, that meeting is taking place right now, and again, there are about 50 billionaires from China who are expected to show up. We'll find out what happens and report back a little bit later. And Joe, right now, I'll send it back over to you.
Yeah, Beck, if we ever, this is the day we needed the Squawk reality series where everything. I wish you had been here, Becky. Maybe we have it on tape to hear Michelle and Rendell. This has been. I'm not kidding you. This made the old point counterpoint on.
Jane, you're worthless.
Oh my! Well, you didn't quite say that.
Ignorant.
But I said this off air. It got to the point where I thought they were going to. It was getting so passionate. I thought. I mean, it looked like it was going to end in like a.
Wait, 4 months to go. After that, you can say.
Oh, okay. Yes, He's only got 4 months. Wow. Anyway, Beck, I apologize for not watching everything and hearing because I was just watching this.
But, he's just as involved,
okay,
Becky.
okay.
You know it.
I know he is. And, Joe, I've got something we're going to show you a little later that you're referenced in, so I know you'll pay attention to that.
I will.
It's coming up a little later in the hour.
I apologize. You know what it's like. I apologize.
We expect
I know.
Yeah,
and it sounds like a good conversation there.
The governor, we got to go, but he wants to ask you a quick question, Beck.
Becky, I'm sure you were listening to the news, and there's a bill running through the Congress that would, in fact, mandate that we flag tariffs if the Chinese don't stop manipulating their currency. I think, and I'm a free trader, but I still think it's long overdue. I assume the reaction in China is bad, but aren't they realistic enough to know eventually the American government is going to stand up to what they've been doing to us?
Probably not. That's not the reaction that you get here. At this point, this is very much set up as an us versus them argument, and they believe their points are just as valid as the viewpoints that you just laid out that very aptly describe what the United States thinks about this. But, Governor, if you're asking if they're coming around to your way of thinking, that's not the sense that I get right now.
I don't think they'll come around to our thinking, but I think down deep the Chinese have known this was coming, that they've pushed us and manipulated us and dumped pipe in America, and they've just waiting for us to have a little bit of backbone and sort of expecting it and having to deal with it, because I think it's long overdue. And Carl made the interesting point that the Tea Partiers and labor unions agree on this point, that we are getting hammered. And in China, I think we are. I think NAFTA's misunderstood by the public. So I think eventually the Chinese are going to have to deal with this. And we're still their biggest market.
I would agree with you that there is something that is probably building to a head on this. I don't agree that the Chinese necessarily think deep down that they're going to have to cave or that they're waiting for the United States to get a backbone. I think they would push back and point out that, yeah, sure, you're their biggest market. They also own a whole lot. They're the biggest holder of U.S. treasuries at this point, too. So I think you're setting it up for what could be a very contentious debate that neither side is willing to stand down from. And I think that's an issue of huge concern. I've heard it in the background this week. And what happens in Congress if there's anything that comes along in terms of charging them with being a currency manipulator along those lines? They seem to be digging in on this end and drawing their own line in the sand on some of these issues. So, Governor, I don't know that it's a situation that will be resolved anytime soon.